my name is Lisa, and today I'm going to talk to you about Edgar Schein's theory of organizational culture. So first, let's get to know Edgar a little better. Edgar was a professor at MIT's Sloan School of Management. He attended school at the University of Chicago, Stanford University, and Harvard University, where he received his PhD in social psychology. His research and publications focuses on organizations, culture, leadership, management, and career dynamics. He's received many awards, including the Distinguished Scholar Practitioner Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award in Leadership, and the Lifetime Achievement Award in Organization Development. Edgar retired from MIT in 2005, but he still continues to consult with local and international organizations on culture and career development issues. Schein defines culture as a property of groups that can be thought of as the accumulated learning that a given group has acquired during its history. He elaborates on this definition to state that culture can be thought of as a pattern of basic assumptions that are invented, discovered, or developed by a given group to cope with its problems of external adaptation and internal integration, and that these assumptions have worked well enough to be considered valid, and therefore they will be taught to new members as the correct way to perceive, think, and feel in relation to those problems. Schein explains that every organization or group can have a strong culture as long as they've had a stable group for a period of time and have had a significant amount of learning experiences. He goes on to explain 3 levels of culture, which are artifacts, values, and underlying assumptions. And we'll go over each of these levels in more detail, starting with artifacts. So artifacts are observed by the outsider of a group, and they're usually easy to be seen, but hard to decipher, and you have to talk to someone from the organization to understand what these artifacts mean to that group. So as we go through all these levels, I'm going to use the fire department in Rolling Meadows to come up with some examples on what each of these levels means to the fire departments. So for artifacts, one artifact could be the logo or the patch that our department has, and this logo is on our uniforms, and if someone from the outside sees our logo or sees a firefighter in uniform, they understand that this person is with the fire department. And finally, another artifact could be the fire engine that is out on the streets, and that's something that you see in the city. So once you have the artifacts down, we move on to values. And values are goals, norms, and standards, and more principles of a group. And these sometimes can be hard to see from an outsider, and that's when you can do a survey or a questionnaire to the organization to figure out what they think that their values are. So for the fire department, we have our own set of values, and we have a mission statement and rules and regulations that each member has to follow while they are at the workplace. So these would be some examples of values for the fire department. And finally, as we get down to the underlying assumptions, we can see this as that they exist at an unconscious level, and they are habits that are formed by the organization. Basic assumptions are the core of the organization and usually are routines and norms that are difficult to change. So another example of this in the fire department would be the newest firefighter has to cook lunch for the guys of the shift, and they also have to clean up and answer the phone and answer the door and do kind of all the grunt work at the station. So this is a tradition that has been passed down from year to year and something that keeps going on at the department. So that would be kind of a basic assumption for the department. So these 3 levels, Schein also has compared it to an iceberg and has stated it the iceberg model. So you have your artifacts, which are easy to see, and then the core of the organization is going to be the underlying assumptions. So now we can ask ourselves, well, how can managers and leaders use this theory to change their organizational culture? And what they have to do is figure out what their underlying assumptions are and make sure that the organization is being consistent with the values of the organization. So if they're not consistent with each other, then the leader knows that he needs to do something in order to change that. And that's when they make changes within the organization to hopefully get the culture back on track to what they want it to. So that is Edgar Schein's theory of culture organization.